So thank you, everyone. Welcome to this event called Careers in Data Science, Master's Programs and Professional Perspectives. I'm Inora. I work at the Hertie School in Berlin, and I'm the manager for CIVICA. So this event is brought to you by CIVICA, which is the European University of Social Sciences. It's an alliance of 10 universities across 9 countries in Europe. And today we want to present to you programs in data science and the kind of careers that they're open to you from the Hertie School in Berlin, i.e. University in Madrid, and the London School of Economics School of Public Policy in London. I would like to introduce the speakers. So we have Simon Mutzert, who is Professor of Data Science and Public Policy and Director of the Data Science Lab at the Hertie School in Berlin. We have Raquel Cabero-Quiles, Academic Director of the Master in Business Analytics and Big Data at IE University in Madrid. And we have Professor Alexander Evans, Program Director of the MPA in Data Science for Public Policy at the School of Public Policy of the London School of Economics. So as you can see, great experts from the field of data science around these 3 universities. And what we will do is present a bit what CIVICA is about and what we do. And then we'll give a chance to each presenter to introduce the program and the careers that are open in the field of data science after this type of masters. And you will have a chance during the entire time to ask questions in the chat. And afterwards, there will also be time for a Q&A if you want to ask your questions to any of the speakers. Is there any question? No? So then let me start. So CIVICA members, we are, as I mentioned, a 10-member alliance founded on long-standing ties. We have universities with bachelor degrees, master's degrees, PhD degrees. The 3 universities around in this event have been also collaborating for a long time. There are also exchange programs, dual degrees among our universities. And I just wanted to show you a little video that introduces our alliance. I hope it works.
Welcome to CIVICA, the European University of Social Sciences. Imagine a place where diverse minds from 10 leading European universities come together, fueled by curiosity and passion. At CIVICA, we empower our communities to shape the future, to exemplify the role of social sciences, and to make a real impact on society. Our 10 CIVICA institutions create an inter-university campus where education, research, and innovation are at the center. We believe that education goes beyond classrooms and textbooks. It's about fostering critical thinking, nurturing creativity, and empowering you to become a change maker. With students,
so we have a longer version that you can watch as well on our YouTube channel. I will just, mention maybe that we have also core topics in our alliance. And one of these core topics is data science for the social sciences. So there's also a lot of collaboration in the field of data science across universities, including regular seminars. So in total, these are 72,000 students and doctoral researchers, 13,000 academic staff, and 168 research institutes. So it's a very active alliance with research education programs, and also a lot of extracurricular activities for the students who join us and have a chance to also attend interesting events outside of the classroom. If there is any question afterwards or in the chat, I'm happy to answer them as well. But first, let me pass the floor to Simon Mutzert, professor at the Hertie School in Berlin.
Thank you, Nora, for the nice introduction. I hope you can all hear me. Thanks for joining. So it's a pleasure to introduce our Master of Data Science for Public Policy and the career opportunities that are related to this program. So you might have not heard yet from the Hertie School, depending on like how much you know about CIVICA and all the institutions. We're probably the smallest institution, but I would say like a still like very fine institution at the heart of Berlin, where policy is made. And the history of the Hertie School has been one that is very much motivated by shaping policy making by producing good evidence for policymakers. Now, in the last few years, what has become more and more important for policymakers, or like for regulation and like governance more generally, is evidence production, and data, and how data is made and can be analyzed. All right, maybe we can switch to the next slide, or actually to the slide afterwards. So our motivation for creating a new master's program at the Hertie School, the Master of Data Science for Public Policy, was to equip people with the tools to, well, like make use of the data in the context of like government, civil society, business, wherever you would like have access to data and use them for decision making, but also to deliver more like fundamental and deep understanding about like of the complex issues that are to be tackled with data and evidence, and also of issues that are new and that are very much shaped by data and data related development. Some like we've all been so like soaked in by the AI hype. And we think that it is of big value to gain a deeper understanding of like what's behind the technologies, what are the risks, what are the opportunities, what are the limits. At the core of all this is a mindset that cherishes high quality evidence to inform decisions under certain constraints, under political constraints, under administrative constraints, under budgetary constraints, and do the best, achieve the best under those conditions with, well, the information at hand. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about the, well, concrete facts about our program. All right, we can move on to the next slide. Thanks. So just like the key facts summarized, all of our like full-time master's programs are 2-year programs. So like 120 ECTS points programs. They are fully delivered in English. So while we are located in Berlin, our institution is running fully in English, and this in particular applies to teaching. This is our first Master of Science program. So like the focus is really on like digging deep into like data science research, being able to like consume it, but also like add to the literature. And at the same time, it's a program that like shares features of our longer running programs in terms of like the networks that we can draw on. So there are multiple options for international exchange. One special feature of the Hertie Master's programs is that students can do a professional year after year 1. So you study your first year, then you do, like you take up a job for 1 year at an institution, and then return to the school for your final year of studies. We have scholarships available. We've also got like Lorena Ramos with us, who can certainly tell us more about like scholarships and other facts related to the program that will become relevant when you think like how to make that happen for you. This also applies to the career services we provide, and the network and how you can tap into the network. All right. Let's talk a little bit more about the contents of the program, because that is really at the core of what this is all about. So the overall idea is to equip students with the necessary fundamental knowledge and tools in both data science and policy making, broadly speaking. So what this means is that in the first year, you would take courses in like the policy process, economics, law and governance on the one hand. So this is courses about like how policies are made and like theories behind that, concepts behind that. And then there's the technical part, which in the first year spans over 5 core courses: mathematics for data science, introduction to data science, causal inference, machine learning, and data structures and algorithms. And those courses provide the basis for electives that you can take in the second year, either like data science electives that deepen your knowledge in topics such as like deep learning, NLP, geospatial data, data science and decision making, experimentation techniques, and so on. And then you could tap into the broad portfolio of courses, also like from our other master's programs, that is portfolio courses in public policy, international affairs, and related topics. So what is, I think, special about that program is its interdisciplinary nature, but also the focus on fundamental knowledge that you need to really understand, for instance, like state-of-the-art algorithms as they are implemented and now used by everyone. We think that is key to really dig deep into the core concepts. So like to talk about the mathematical fundamentals, the statistical fundamentals, the coding and data structure fundamentals that you need to understand what is actually going on. So this is not like a program that would teach you like just the usage of some tools, but that digs deeper. And then in the second year, you obviously also like get the chance to apply those tools and yeah, like apply them to like questions that you are interested in and want to work on. As with like all other programs we have, like it features a master thesis at the end, so that is where we would then expect students to like create their own research project using data science tools. Thanks, Honora. I was still on the last slide, but like now I'm happy to talk more about the extracurricular opportunities. I think that's another like nice feature of our community. So students are very active and like have founded lots of student clubs and initiatives. Maybe most closely related to the Master of Data Science is the Hertie Coding Club. So almost all students are part of that, engaged in that. The idea being that students work together on coding projects, but also like train themselves in additional tools that are not necessarily part of the core curriculum. But as you can see, there are so many other opportunities, and like that is just like a tiny sample of the club environment that you would see at Hertie. You also see the maker space on the left, which is like one of the most popular rooms for our data science students to engage with each other. We have 3D printing devices, a podcast studio even. So there's lots of stuff you can do outside the core curriculum and yeah, foster and hone your own skills. Okay, what can you do with that program? Well, we're still a fairly young program. Currently, the third cohort has gone into its first year. So we're recruiting for the fourth cohort in fall. And we have seen the first graduates picking up jobs at like various institutions in the last year. And opportunities are vast, I would say, and they cover like both like all sectors. So what you see here are examples of like government institutions or government-related institutions, such as the German Federal Foreign Office. So more and more government institutions build up their own data science labs and units. And we've seen people from our program joining those units. I think it's an ideal match because in order to like work effectively in those units, you have to understanding of both the policy process and how, say, like the sausage is made, and how the sausage is made in terms of like how data can be used when you work with real data. Other alumni have joined consultancies, also like public-private sector consultancies, or yeah, other firms that are like really operating with lots of data and like need like effective analysis of those data for decision making and their business model. It's a Master of Science, as I said before. So some of our students also want to stay in academia, and we also prepare them for that. So as an example, one of our recent graduates just joined the like one of the PhD programs in Princeton, and he's enjoying it a lot. So we were happy to see that. There'd be so much more to tell you about that. Maybe we can like dig deeper in the Q&A. Also, we have a website of the program and like the get to know our MDS graduates link that you see down here. feel free to just check out our website and learn more about the people who've started our program and what they are doing now. Okay, so to conclude, just a few words on who is operating the program. So as Enora has already said, I am the director of the Data Science Lab. The Data Science Lab is one of multiple units in the school that is dedicated to particular topics. We also have a Center for Sustainability, Center for International Security, a Center for Digital Governance, and more. Our center/lab is focused on using data science, developing data science tools for public good applications and policy applications. But also we are all very much invested in teaching in the data science program. So all core courses that I told you about in the first year are taught by core data science lab members. And this helps us ensure that the courses speak well to each other, that they build up on each other, that also on the coding end, that you learn everything sequentially. We primarily teach R and Python. We have on top of that a research environment that we are quite proud about because it's also inclusive. So as a student, you can join regular events where we talk about our latest projects, and we even have the opportunity to join some of those projects. Okay, maybe one more thing, because I think I'm running out of time. Maybe we can skip that. That's our research profiles, which if you're interested, you can check out online. I should say a word about that if you haven't heard this or haven't heard about this. We were part of the CIVICA Data Science Seminar Series, so co-organizers of that. So regularly, usually on Wednesday afternoons, there were online talks about, data science related topics. So this is just again, a small sample of those talks that we featured in the past. So be sure to check out the current lineup. I think I'd leave it at that. Obviously, we do much more, such skill workshops, extracurricular stuff on latest developments in AI and tools you can play around with. But I'm happy to tell you more about that in the Q&A. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Simon. And now let me pass the floor to Professor Alexander Evans from the London School of Economics.
Nora, thanks very much, and very good to join you, and very good to be here as part of a CIVICA network. It's a really great network. It connects great institutions across Europe, and I think it's a signal again of the value of having networked global institutions around public policy and data science. I'll talk about our MPA in data science and public policy. This is at the LSE. We are pretty young, so we are currently recruiting for year 2 of the cohort. We began it last year. Perhaps if we move to the next slide, let me kick off a little bit on the wider context for the School of Public Policy. So the LSE has run an MPA, a Masters in Public Administration, a 2-year program for 20 years. And we have a School of Public Policy that has a mix of both 2-year MPA students and 1-year Masters in Public Policy students. We're very global. We now are a school of 340 odd students, 61 nationalities, 8 master's degree programs of varying sorts. And we have a faculty mix that obviously include LSE academics from economics and political science and data science and methodology. But we also have a range of practitioners. So we have people like the former Deputy Finance Minister of Mexico, the former Deputy Governor of the Bank of England, the former Finance Minister of Chile is our Dean. And I'm in that latter category, although I have a PhD. Most of my career has been in practice rather than academia. I have been an academic at both Yale and Oxford before. But I've been a British diplomat and an American official and a UN official. And crucially for this, I was Britain's cyber director. So I was our cyber and technology international negotiator between 2018 and 2020. And I've led data science capabilities both in our foreign ministry and in our cabinet office at the heart of government, and was an advisor to our Prime Minister in 10 Downing Street. So the goal here is very much this hybrid, and just like Simon with Hertie, I mean, I think that the great thing about public policy schools is that ability to bring the hybrid of the academic with robust social science at its heart, with the practitioner dimension and indeed the practitioner additive elements that are so relevant for students in their professional career afterwards. Let's perhaps move on, if that's all right from me, SPP. Let me just talk about a data science programme. So this is our newest offering within our MPA family. We began last year, and what's been interesting for us, we've deliberately recruited a small cohort. We recruited 18 students last year. We're angling for a cohort of about 15. The same will be true this year. And our goal here is to have one of the most competitive cohorts globally on it. And we've already made significant moves towards that. So just to give a sense, in 2023, we made offers to 21% of applicants. We've missed 9.5%. That compares to an admission rate for the MPA at Harvard of well over 20%. So effectively, what's interesting is what we're seeing globally is a massive drive for people to do data science, technology, public policy, because there's a recognition of a demand from public and private sector, and indeed from a third sector as well for these capabilities. I think what I'd really want to emphasize is we're open to career switchers as well as those with existing academic or professional background in data science or quant social science. So there may be some candidates who say, I'd love to do this, but don't I need to be an existing coder? Don't I need to be somebody with a very strong math background? We've taken people who are Japanese and Mandarin linguists who are career switching. We've taken people with a qualitative background in social policy who, again, are committed to switching, as well as people with data science and applied data science backgrounds in consulting, in the public sector, in international organizations. So I just want to emphasize that because I think that element of being open to both is really important for us. Could we perhaps move on to the next slide? So here's a picture of our current cohort with the world upside down, which is one of LSE's pieces of installation art on our campus. Just to briefly run through the program, it's a 2-year program, it's full-time. Crucially, it begins with a boot camp beforehand. This is in the September before the whole program begins. That's taught by Casey Kearney, our assistant professor who came from the Harvard Kennedy School. And that really is an intensive programming boot camp and math boot camp to bring everybody up to a certain level of speed. But I also want to be clear, what we're not trying to do is train data scientists. If you want to train in data science, our view is it would be better to go off and do a fully focused data science program rather than data science and public policy. What we're interested in doing is developing people who can be the data science and public policy leaders of tomorrow. And our view is we will need those people at senior level in the UN, at Assistant Secretary General and above. We'll need those people in national government, across ministries, across national security, economics and values parts of government. And we're going to need these people to shape intelligent regulation, to shape how public policy is developed, and to shape government technology. How does government actually adopt and use AI, machine learning, and data science in the application and delivery of government services? Our programme also includes a capstone project in the second year. Those capstone partners at the moment across the LSE range from the UN and the British Foreign Office and central banks and the City of Cape Town through to Goldman Sachs and Citigroup and Moody's through to Médecins Sans Frontières and Plan International. So a real cornucopia of different sectors, but all related to public policy. We are one of only 2 partners for the UN headquarters team on capstones. So that's a particular ingredient for people seeking careers in international organisations. And what we do try to offer in this degree as a whole is that combination of what LSE is really good at, which is really robust anchoring in social sciences and quantitative social sciences, but also the ability to flex to practice and understand the practice and policy, applied policy dimensions of this as well. That's reflected in the network of visiting appointments we have in the school. So the Director of Data Science in 10 Downing Street is a visiting professor. The head of policy at Coinbase, the crypto regulator, ex-Uber, formerly CIA, is a senior fellow with us. We are just about to make some more appointments in the data science and technology space. The kind of visitors who come into the school to teach or do brown bag lunches or masterclasses range from the heads of data science for major corporates to people advising on AI auditing, to those involved in the development of regulation, whether European, British or American, on this subject. Could we perhaps move through to the next slide? So here's a brief overview. I won't talk it through in great detail, but about our year 1 and year 2 approach. So what we have in year 1 is quite a lot of core curriculum, really around data science for public policy. That's very much applied to data science cases, using coding, using real world examples, but trying to look at the gamut of ways in which data science can and is being applied to public policy problems. There's also some very core work on micro and macroeconomics, on quant approaches to policy analysis, and political science for public policy. In year 2, as I said, there's the capstone project. There's a course which I have to say is brilliant, of course, because it's mine, in technology, data science and policy. That involves guest speakers. We've had guest speakers ranging from the director of Britain's government digital service to senior diplomats to senior intelligence officers, talking about the way in which data science is being applied in practice. But there's also then the chance to take options to the value of 1 or 1.5 units from either public policy, for people who want to focus in on the applied policy piece of it, or indeed from other data science courses offered across the LSE. Let's keep going if that's all right. So in the second year options, I won't dwell on this again, but you've got basic elective options, including 28 courses covering a range of regional and topic focus areas, and also 17 data science electives from across the LSE. And again, that offer on both fronts is growing as the school itself develops. Let's keep going if that's all right. Talked briefly about the bootcamp. I won't dwell on that, except the feedback from that has generally been positive. Unlike some of those institutions where professors are seen one Monday every month, our professors actively teach and are engaged and are around the school all the time. So I'm not on vacation in September during that programming bootcamp. I'm around, even though I don't teach on it. And we're doing a range of social events and a range of engagement events with externals to really embed that sense of cohort amongst the people coming into the programme. Let's keep going. So there again is those groups. Just a brief touch on the demographics. I'm really pleased to say that our first cohort was majority female, which is not necessarily some of the prejudicial assumptions you might make about data science and public policy courses. 18 students, 11 nationalities, about 3.5 years professional experience on average, but actually there is a range there. We're open to people with very limited professional experience. We're also open to candidates with significant professional experience and backgrounds in finance, law, engineering, both national government administration, but also in the United Nations system and more. And let's keep going if that's all right. So briefly on entry requirements, a first or second class honours degree or equivalent in any discipline, and I really do mean any discipline. We look at all the applications. You're not screened out by AI. It's actually looked at by academics in the school. No formal requirement for professional work experience, although students usually have some prior professional experience. We would want to see motivation. So why do you want to do this? 2 years of your life is a significant commitment, and we want our students to be really motivated, even if they might not have the depth of data science or quant background, and there may be harder work to drive into that space. We encourage people to apply online as early as possible. The early application deadline has passed already. It was in January. Some seats are held open for later applicants, but I would say that those seats are vanishing fast, as it were, as we make offers. And we will close out once we have made offers proportionate to the cohort we're trying to take in. We make decisions usually within about 8 weeks of application. So I hope that gives a flavour of that piece. Like Simon, I have to do, Berlin's a great city, love it. Lots of other great cities in Europe. London's also a great city. And I think one of the pluses about London is it is this global hub. People come through, you've got the mix of government, you've got private sector, you've got this vibrant third sector and cultural sector as well. And that gives plenty of connectivity to career options, to mentoring, to internship opportunities, and actually just to access life in a very global city. And I would also want to add, the other things that we're offering within the wider School of Public Policy. And in particular, we run a professional skills accelerator designed to really build and bridge the professional skills that are needed and the networks that are needed for applied careers in public policy. And that includes David McCandless, the author of the Information is Beautiful blog and several leading books on data visualization, training on data visualization capability. We bring in interviewers from public policy and international organizations to do videos, rehearsed interviews for job applications across the public policy space. We bring in serving politicians and political campaigners using digital means to talk about the lived experience of working on political campaigns and supporting apex and political decision makers. So that investment as well in professional skills is a very key part of what we offer at the LSE. So, very open to hear from candidates who are interested. Please do look at the LSE website. There's information on there, much more than I'm going to give right now. But also just again to say thank you to Nora, thank you to Simon and others on this. I think the CIVICA network is a terrific thing, particularly with Hertie and Sciences Po. We already do some very close work ourselves at LSE. We have joint degrees with Hertie and with Sciences Po as part of the LSE School of Public Policy, but also with Columbia, the Monk School in Toronto, Tokyo and Lee Kuan Yew. So really emphasizing, as it were, that global connectivity, because our view is that everybody needs to understand technology and data science to be successful in public policy in the future. Everybody needs to understand the international and the comparative to be successful in public policy in the future. And those two ingredients are at the heart of what LSE offers. Thanks very much. Back to you, Nora.
Thank you so much, Alexander, for the presentation. And now I'm really glad to pass the floor to Raquel from the IE University and for a master's, this time about business analytics and data science. So Raquel, I will give you control of the presentation so that you can upload your own presentation. Let me know if this works.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nora. Let me see. Okay, perfect. I think I can share my screen.
Oh yeah, I have to stop sharing first. Sorry.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, if you can put it in presentation mode. Yeah, exactly.
Is it fine, or can you see?
No, you have to put it in.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me see.
Down. If you go down to presentation, yeah, there. But we see the.
Yeah, you see the maybe it's because I have the second screen here. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Okay.
I'm gonna do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for the.
Don't worry.
In the meantime, do not hesitate to also ask questions in the chat if you want, and then we'll be also happy to. I heard that. Yeah, I see that some already asked questions in the chat. Don't hesitate to ask some questions in the chat, and we have the Q&A after Raquel's presentation. So I see that you're now on, Raquel.
Okay. Perfect. Does it look fine now? A little bit better, right? Perfect. No, it's bad. Okay. Let's just do it like this. Perfect. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Nora, and thank you, CIVICA, for the opportunity. It's great to be here with you and to share a little bit more about our program. So let me introduce myself first. I'm the academic director of the Master in Business Analytics and Big Data. I'm also an alumni of the program. I did this program a few years ago. And I actually worked in admissions also for a few years, so I can give you different perspectives. So the whole journey. So any questions about the experience in the admissions of the program, I'll be happy to answer after the presentation. And right now I'm also a professor of data visualization in the program, and I'm also doing a PhD in data communication, like implementing artificial intelligence in data communication. So I just want to give you an introduction so that you have the big picture of our school. So right now, the School of Science and Technology, we have 3 master degrees, the Master in Big Data. We also have a Master in Computer Science and Business Technology and a new Master in Software Engineering. And Iklak Siduk is the Dean of our university. He worked in the University of Berkeley for 17 years. He was the director of the Center of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and he came here 2 years ago. So it's great to have this different perspective, and we're really working. Well, I is very, if you know, one of our main values is innovation. So we're also trying to implement this innovation and entrepreneurial mindset into our tech programs. So let me tell you a little bit more about the profile of our students. So for the Master in Big Data full-time, we have 2 intakes, one in September and another one in April. This last intake in September, we had 118 students. In April, we have 65. And then there is also a Master in Big Data and Business Analytics part-time. I'm not sure if any of you might also be interested in studying part-time. But instead of doing it in 11 months, you can also do it part-time in 17 months, and you can do it online. You only have 4 face-to-face sessions in Madrid. But the Master in Business Analytics and Big Data full-time, this is the one that I work with. We had 118 students in this last intake. 68% of our students are male, and 32% of our students are female. Also, the average age is 25, and 3.2 more or less years of work experience. So this program, some students recently graduated, other students may have many years of work experience. So it's pretty much for anyone who wants to get into the world of data science, big data, or for people who are already working in the sector and they have the knowledge, but they want to dive deeper and they also want to upload their network and gain other skills that I'll explain you now here in this presentation. As you know, IE is very, very international. More or less, we have 30% of our students are from Europe, 20% from Spain, 8% from North America, 20% from Latin America, 12% from the Middle East, and 7% from Asia Pacific. And in this last intake, we had 40 different nationalities, and as I was mentioning, 87 international students. Also, I want to highlight that in order to do this program, it's not necessary to have a technical background. Actually, 70% of our students, they have a background in business, economics, or there is also a smaller percent, as you can see, in humanities, for example, social sciences, that's a minority, but only 30% of the students who actually start the program, they have experience with coding in data science, but 70% of our students don't. So either if you already have experience or not, this program is actually designed for everyone because they start from scratch, but it's a very fast-paced program, so you get into an advanced level quick. So it's actually great to see how people who start the program without previous knowledge, they end up working in data science careers. So I mean, not all of them, it depends, but it's actually impressive and great to see these achievements. I'll talk a little bit more about careers later on. So let me focus on the structure of the program. So you can see here we have 3 terms. The first one, the first one is when all the students learn the foundations. They learn statistics for data science. They learn about machine learning, SQL, big data and business strategy, modern data architectures, Python. And I didn't mention this, but there is a pre-program. So right before the students start the master, there is a pre-program in mathematics and programming, just to make sure that everyone has a solid base when they start the program. So the first term is to get more a good understanding on all the different technologies and all the skills that you're gonna need. And then the second term, it's more hands-on, like our approach is very, very practical in general. This is something very typical at IE, but in particular in this program, we really want our students to work on real cases. So all the professors that we have most of them are practitioners. They are working in companies. They have experience in data science. So they usually provide real cases to the students so that they can actually work on similar projects that they'll work on once they graduate. And then I also want to emphasize that in our program, it's not only about learning data science, big data, business analytics, that of course students are for sure going to gain that knowledge, but there are many other aspects that we think are essential. For example, leadership skills that you can see here. We have different classes on working in teams, communication skills, critical thinking, agile thinking, how the networking. So there are many other classes that we consider fundamental because it's not only about the technical skills, but like the soft power skills are also fundamental. So we also introduce that in the curriculum. We also have different clubs. There are more than 100 clubs at IE. We have a club in big data. There is a cloud analytics. There are a Google Cloud. There are plenty of clubs so that students can be engaged, and they organize plenty of events. I would say pretty much every day at IE there is some type of event work going on. And then in terms of experiential learning, we organize once a year for each intake, we organize the sustainability datathon, because sustainability is also one of the main values here at IE. And this, for example, it was a couple of weeks ago, we did it with Ryanair, and it was a challenge to reduce food waste. So students had to build a predictive model in order to, of course, increase sales and reduce the number of food waste that they have, because the food waste that they have in the company is pretty high. So they are working on this real case, and in the end, hopefully they can also help the company, and it's good for the experience. And at the same time, they are having an impact in the environment. So this is another example. And then we have impact projects, which I'm actually gonna jump into the impact project. Let me see. So for the impact projects, this is the final project. We have many different companies that come to the university. Every year, we usually have 5. So these are some of the companies that came last year. So each company, they present their project, and then all the students in groups. Actually, we do a lot of work in teams. That's actually something that we consider very important. So they choose one of the projects, and they do the final project in one of these companies. And you can see here the datathon that I was mentioning. We are doing it with Ryanair. Last year it was with Acciona. And in the third term, we also give them the option to do an internship. So this is voluntary for those students. They usually have to take 5 electives, but if they want to do an internship, instead of, they only take 3 electives and they do an internship. So that's also a possibility. And as I was explaining about the structure of the program, the first term and the second one are general, everyone, because that's the fundamental knowledge that anyone needs to have if they want to pursue a career in business analytics, data science. But then in the third term, that's when they can actually specialize. So if they are interested in smart health, they can choose a concentration in health, industry for all, fintech, advanced AI. This is actually one of the most popular concentrations that we have nowadays. And also, we are working very closely with I'm working closely with the professors to implement all the different tools of generative AI. We're also we also introduce some classes of prompt engineering, just to make sure that students are very up to date with all the new technologies that we see, and I think most of us are using nowadays. So these are some of the concentrations. So in the third term, they can specialize. And this is the other option that we have. So as I was mentioning at the beginning, entrepreneurship is also one of the values, and not only it doesn't mean that everyone starts a business right after, but it's more about the entrepreneurial mindset, like take risk and take initiative to start something. So this is a possibility that we give them in the last term. So instead of doing a project for a company, they can also do it for their own company. Of course, it has to be a project related to data science and big data, but this is also a possibility that we offer. And we also have the option to, we offer certifications. I mean, we've seen that certifications add a lot of value to our students. So we actually offer them the possibility to do any of these certifications. And for some of them, we offer some courses so that they can prepare for the certification. Just a brief introduction of some of our professors. Juan José Casado, he's the Chief Data Officer of Repsol. Angélica, Data Scientist from Santander. well, I'm not going to go over all these professors, but you can see here, as I was mentioning, all of them are currently working in the industry. So that's great for the students. And in terms of careers, these are some of the top employers that we had in last year for the last intake. And here you can see the employment per function. So as you can see here, almost 63% of our students, they end up working in data science as data scientists, data analysts, or in business intelligence. And as I was saying, this is great because some people they don't have any knowledge before they start the program. So during these 11 months, they actually get all this knowledge and they are actually able to get into this career. We also have a big, like 11% of our students, they want to work in consulting. And then we also have some other roles like in tech, engineering roles. So we have a lot of diversity. This is a specific program, but it also have many different career pathways depending on the interest of the student. As I said, we have a lot of diversity. The profile of our students is very diverse. So the career pathways that they take are very diverse, but of course the main ones are data science, data analyst, and business intelligence, which for sure is still growing a lot. So, and in terms of a sector, most of them work in technology, others in consulting, financial services, industrial, consumer, luxury, retail. So these are the main sectors where our students work. So this is also an option. Our students have the possibility, if they want to do an exchange, to go on an exchange. We have exchange with Frankfurt, London Business School, Imperial College, Lucerne, Porto, and Universidad de Los Ángeles. And then the last thing that I want to mention, we also have the Immersion Week. This year, we're going to do it in Berkeley. We're going in April with our students. They are doing is a week where we'll visit many different tech companies in Silicon Valley. We also go to master classes. So it's an intensive course that we do in the University of Berkeley. And for those students who don't want to go to the United States, they prefer to stay here in Europe. We also organize an immersion week in Berlin, which is a great opportunity for networking, get to know, visit companies, learn from professionals who are working there, job opportunities. So yeah, something that I didn't mention at the beginning is that we put a lot of emphasis on careers. So every student has a career advisor who is guiding them throughout the whole year. We also have 20 sessions on careers, like how to work on your CV, preparing for interviews, networking. So this is actually something that is very important, and that's why students, usually most of them, before they finish the program, they already have jobs, because it's also something that we work on, and we help them a lot during the course. This is the challenge that I mentioned. Actually, the closing ceremony is the 6th of March. So if by any chance any of you is here in Madrid, or you're planning to visit, I recommend you, I encourage you to come, because it's going to be a very fun event. You can see all the projects, like the finalist projects. The CEO of Ryanair will be coming as well. So it's going to be a big event. So just in case, you're welcome to come and see the university. And this is actually the last thing that I want to mention. We are offering now a generative AI bootcamp. This is an immersive experience, 3 days, in which students from the School of Science and Technology work with other students from the business school, the law school, from the architecture school, from many different areas. And of course, each of them can add something different, but this is what we want. We want to bring people from different disciplines and get to work on venture projects together. So this is an initiative that we're working on. We did it a few weeks ago, and it went really well, and we're excited for the next one. So, well, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, you have my email here, but I'll stay as well now for questions.
Thank you so much, Raquel, and for the invitation as well to join the event. So there have been a few questions in the chat, but please feel free to also ask your questions here. And of course, I think all of the speakers are absolutely available for questions later, also by email, if you have specific questions related to a program, or do not think right now about a question. It's quite a lot of information to process. but please go ahead. No, I mean, it seems that the questions have been answered in the chat. Then the only thing left for us to do is to thank you, and thanks a lot to all the speakers from around Europe for joining us. 3 very exciting programs with a lot to offer. So, I think, we've all understood how much of a promising field data science is, and how many careers can be open to students in all fields and sectors after such an interesting program. So I hope that you found the answer you were looking for, and you can contact us anytime if you have questions. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Enora. Thanks all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.